Okay. So hello, Madhur. It's a bright sunny morning today, and it feels amazing to join you for this interesting interview session. So I'll quickly introduce myself in less than a minute. So basically, I am Twinkle, and I am a final year student from Techno India College of Technology, Kolkata. And if I have to talk about my professional timeline, I have been a freelancer for more than 2 years, worked as an R&D software developer intern at Keysight Technologies, and currently a Java developer intern at LabVantage Solutions. Apart from that, I have been an academic educator on multiple platforms to guide students. And on my co-curricular timeline, I have been interested in research. I have done professional anchoring, invited by IIT Kharagpur, one national hackathons, maintainer of Hacktoberfest, and I have been the founder of my college coding club, where I have mentored over 300 students, and I've represented my school and college at state and national level. And been a star student achiever twice in my college newsletter. So that is like a summed up introduction of mine. So having said that, I would now like you to introduce yourself to our audience so that they get a hint of your competence too. Over to you, Madhu.
Thanks, Twinkle, for inviting me. Your experience is really nice and various initiatives that you have taken. So coming to my background experience, I am Madhur Jain, final year student at IIT Patna. I was awarded by the Honorable, the President of India, Sri Ramnath Kovind ji, for becoming the national champion in National Election Quiz competition amongst 13.5 lakh plus students. I have earlier interned at Briefcart in the product role and at Mumbai Angels Network in the investment role. Also, I am currently interning at Infinite Club in the business and management role, and I founded Finance Club in IIT Patna 3 years ago and won various national case competitions related to management consulting. I am also currently the student placement coordinator at IIT Patna, and my hobbies include reading non-fiction books and analyzing business model of different companies. And finally, I also co-founded one community, FinStart, which stands for Finance and Startups, where we share different resources related to these fields and host many podcast sessions with reputed industry professionals like Pranjal Kamara, Abhishek Kar, Rishabh Jain, Mohanis Pabrai, and wide variety of different industries. I am also very active on LinkedIn as a content creator, having 30,000 plus followers and 15 million plus impressions.
All right, that was like stupendous, like too many followers, too many achievements. You've already done great in your life. And you're just a 23 pass out like me, but you're already so ahead. I'm so glad that I'm talking to you today. So, all right. So now I guess we should commence this session. And I would like to do that by acknowledging the viewers with the format of the session today. So basically, I have framed 6 questions, which I wanted to ask Madhur. And all these questions are made from the point of view that most of us would be curious to know the answers of these questions. And today, since we have Madhur, it will be great to hear it from him. And apart from that, if you have any other queries, this is to our audience, you may list them down in the comments or let us know personally. So I would bombard you with the first question, which I feel I have been super confused about personally. So it's about this, that you also mentioned this in your introduction, that you have been actively involved in quiz, debates, you have a proficient academic record, you are into content creation also. So what do you feel, like one should try out a variety of stuff at this age? Or do you think one should focus on channelizing energy and time only to a specific domain to gain expertise and be proficient in that particular field?
Yeah, that's a really very important question, because like for college students, I believe that this is especially the single most important question that they have to find out. So this I call as exploration. So exploring different fields and opportunities is most important for every college people. So like what happens is that there are so many different career opportunities, different options, different suggestions available to people, and they get confused because suppose like if I see somebody is doing in finance, somebody doing coding, somebody doing in commerce, somebody in arts, like so many different fields, like in business also, like consulting, accounting, taxation, like so many different fields. So what I believe is most important is first one have to explore different fields based on their own interest, their hobbies. So they have to ask questions to themselves like what they honestly are good at, what they love doing, like what they used to do in their school days with their friends and without any external pressure, like not because of somebody will give them grades or some rewards. That's why they are doing something, but just something as a passion. And once they figure out like 4 or 5 different things, then they have to start knowing more about those things through the through various like podcasts such as this, then various books, various courses, so that they can know whether they honestly like this and can pursue this further. And also like if there is any good opportunity in that field, because like for example many people love singing or dancing, but they know that they can't be a professional singer or dancer. Like it's possible for some of the people but not for all of them. So after figuring out a certain 3 to 5 fields and exploring them further, they have to niche it down to just 1 or 2 fields. And once it's done, then they can go very deep into those fields to develop a mastery, like an expertise. So because in today's world only experts are valued most, like you have to be in the top 0.001% in any field. Like you can be highly successful, but only thing is you have to become a master in one field. Because let's say we all know like MS Dhoni, Priyanka Chopra, or Narendra Modi, Shahrukh Khan, like so many different people are there, Lionel Messi, Roger Federer. But what is common in all of them? All of them are nearly the top people in their own field, be it any kind of field. So that's the most important. So like most college students are busy in studying, getting grades, doing coding, getting into the FOMO. Like they see that all of their friends are doing coding, so they have to do coding. Why? Because they heard their friends are doing. They heard that coders get, IITians get 1 crore, 2 crore packages, big picture in the newspapers, and they just without thinking started coding. And personally, I didn't do those things. Like all of my friends who are there just beside my room, upstairs, downstairs, all are doing coding. But I thought to take a bold decision to find out what I truly likes. And fortunately, during COVID, I explored different fields and get to know my passion lies into investing space, like venture capital space, where we help the startup entrepreneurs to build some good startups to solve the problem of common people. Because we all use popular startup products like Uber, Swiggy, Zomato, like all these are common day-to-day uses, Phone Pay, Google Pay. So this is most important for every college students, and I highly recommend them to start exploring. And there is a very good book, Ikigai, which explains very beautifully like how they can actually do this in a much better manner.
That was a really well framed answer. I mean, you mentioned all the points that I had in my mind. I also get very influenced by FOMO, which you mentioned. And you mentioned about external pressure, which is also a very key factor in being able to decide what career you want to pursue actually. And judging if you actually like it just as a hobby or as an honest career option. So it's very important. All the points that you mentioned have been clearly looked into. I will make sure we properly format it and present it to our LinkedIn audience too. Okay, so moving on to the second question. That is, you have been the founder of your finance club at your college. So, and I am somebody who literally has very little interest in finance, primarily because I do not understand things that are related to the finance field. So how would you build an interest in a person like me in the finance or investment spectrum in a very little time? Like, how would you arouse that interest so that I feel like exploring more in this field?
Yeah, that's a very important question because like most people wrongly believe that finance is for someone who is into this field and not for the common people. And this is a very big misconception which is out there. Like understanding finances is a must for each and every individual. Uh, they can be into any industry. Like it's a must for everyone. And coming to how I can develop that interest. So here, understanding why is most important. Like the reason why someone needs to understand finance, like what are its benefits of understanding, because in most places you see everyone just talks about the what about finance, like what is finance, where they can do something related to finance, and that's why people get confused because they can't relate it with themselves because the why part is missing. So coming to the why part, so like for every college students or young professionals, it is very important to manage their finances. Like for example, you must be in, like all college students earn something from their internships. They get some money from their parents. Then they later on get into a job. So like how to plan to use their money, like how much they should save, how much they should use in expenses like for going out or other kinds of all expenses, how much they grow their money, because you all must have heard about inflation, like a mehengai. So for last 2 years mehengai is very high. Like everyone is saying like सारे सब्जी इतने महंगे हो गए, सारे मसाले इतने महंगे हो गए, जो भी हम लोग कॉमन चीज खाते हैं वो सब महंगे हो गए. Even like all students can relate that their 10 rupees kurkure now comes just 36 gram, whereas earlier it used to be around 50 grams. So people can now see everything becoming uh, very expensive. So one needs to plan how they should do insurance. Like for example, like health insurance is very very important, because like if someone don't do health insurance, then it can take lakhs and lakhs of rupees whenever any a bad thing happens with them, like any accident or any disease. So understanding insurance products, understanding how much to spend, how much to invest, how to grow their wealth, how to comfortably retire easily. So all these are very important. And what happens is that like most of the tech people, they just think that earning more money is the solution. But that's a very, very big misunderstanding, because there are lots of examples where people earn very, very high amounts of money, but they don't know how to manage. So like they earn 1 crore and they spend 2 crores and they are in debt and they are unhappy because of pressures, because of debt, interest rates, loans. And also like in student life, we have to take loans also, like for doing higher educations like MBA, like college loans are very common. So how to understand all these things, how to plan, how to manage it well, how to retire, and how to stay happy. Because if we can manage money properly, we will be really happy, very joyful, and we can enjoy our experience. So that's why understanding finance is a must. And for doing that only, like I started sharing different things from very basics over LinkedIn, on my YouTube channel, doing podcasts with reputed professionals, so that people can understand finance in a very simple language. Because many people try to just complicate things, they use very hi-fi kind of words, jargons, and people just see that word and they think it is something for the experts and they just left it. This is very very common in finance. So this needs to be avoided and one needs to understand. And one last point is that many people do not focus on finance because it's not taught in our schools and colleges. This is a very, very big problem currently in India, because all other things are being taught in our curriculums. But these important things like how to become productive, how to finance, how to understand finance, understanding about negotiation, communication skills, like these skills are must for every successful people. So one needs to understand these things.
Yeah, right. You correctly pointed out that soft skills are never taught in our colleges and schools, and thus we are not aware only of those things. And you basically changed my perspective. I used to think finance is all about numbers, facts, figures, big tables, graphs. But actually, finance is simply about how you are spending money and how you have to save it, basically, in the very simplest of terms. So clearly, I'm going to search about it next.
I would
Okay.
like to add one more point.
Sure.
Even many people think that they need high level of mathematics and other tools to understand finance, but you won't believe it. The only maths that's needed to understand finance and numbers well is class 10 level maths, which includes proper addition, subtraction, multiplication, just simple understanding simple numbers. Like no calculus or other trigonometry things are needed at all in finance.
Right. Okay. So my third question to you would be that you are definitely pursuing your bachelor's from an IIT, and you are just about to graduate. So you've definitely seen students who take up a seat in a random department of an IIT just for the sake of the IIT tag, but later switch to a career in a domain which is very different from what they have actually done in their graduation. Like I have seen people taking up aerospace engineering. It's a very good branch of engineering, I suppose. They take up that and then they are preparing for maybe a government job, which is in the field of history and civics, like majorly dealing with that. So it's very different from what they're doing. So do you feel a high school pass out should be more particular about choosing their domain of interest, or should they focus on the college environment, or should they get hold of a degree somehow and then start up their own business or try for a government sector job?
So this is one of the most important question for the high school students as well as college students. So let me tell why this happens first. This happens because there is very lack of awareness in the students. Because when a student is in its class 10 or 12, they only know that they have to prepare for the IIT JEE or the medical need, and or like commerce, like +2 marks or CUET exams, and they just focus on that. They never ask themselves why they are doing that. Like what will they do after like getting AI1 in JEE? Like which profession they like, which work they honestly want to do and to create some impact. So these questions are never being asked. Like sadly, their parents or their school teachers, nobody focus these questions. So everybody is kind of in a rat race where they just want to run as fast as possible, but without thinking whether they are running at the right direction or the wrong direction. Because running at the towards the right direction is single most important thing, and whether you are running slowly or fastly, that matters later on. But if you are running in the wrong direction, no matter how fast you run, you will reach the wrong place. So this understanding is very, very important. So what happens is that once people join their college, then later on they face the reality. So suppose they choose civil engineering, for example, based on their JEE rank, but they don't know anything about a civil branch. They don't know whether they like learning about civil engineering topics, subjects, or about construction and bridges, etc. things. So later on, most of them found out, oh no, like they did a big mistake. They choose the wrong branch only on the basis of rank. And after that, they get into FOMO. They see, okay, all of their friends are doing coding, and coding people can get into job quite easily because there is a lot of demand, lot of companies are there, and that too with a good package. So all of them just start doing coding. Like if you see in any engineering college, like 90 to 95% students are doing coding, irrespective of any branch. And this is really very, very big problem, because only the people who are very successful in doing coding, they are doing very well, irrespective of any branch. But all other people are doing a very big mistake, and they will again realize it later after starting their job. Because when there will be lots of commitments, lots of pressures, lots of deadlines, they won't be able to work very hard, very passionately, because this isn't their passion. they didn't choose it based on their passion. They chose this based on FOMO. And after that, they couldn't able to deliver extraordinary results. And after that, their promotion and other things will get saturated. And then they finally will realize that they have done again a big mistake, repeating what they did earlier. But it's good that some of the students are taking the courage after getting into any college, like be it IIT or any other engineering college, they started exploring themselves. So similarly, I also did the same. During the COVID, I got a lot of free time. I started consuming content online. I started thinking of these important questions 2 years ago. And I take the bold step of doing very, very different thing. Like I did internship in VC companies, for example, and you won't believe it, even commerce students don't get opportunity in VC space, commerce or MBA students, let alone engineering. Like engineering is like the far end extreme to get into VC space. But I found my interest. I studied very, very passionately. I have been working very hard for last 1 to 2 years, building my profile, learning through various resources, books, blogs, uh, courses, interacting with people, LinkedIn, like everywhere. And slowly, I'm getting very good results. So this I would suggest to everyone to explore themselves, to take the bold step of finding their passion and just continue doing it. Once they will start, they will face a lot of hurdles because it's a very tough path. It's not an easy path. But later on, they will feel very proud and happy that they take this tough decision early on, so that all their future life will be very much uh, in the right direction. So in to very, very important stage in most people.
All right. Just asking you, Madhur, are you able to hear my audio and video clearly?
Yes, yes.
All right. Your video is lagging a little bit. Now I guess it's fine. Okay. Yes, your answer to that question was pretty much awesome. I guess it clearly defines what we should do, like as a high school pass out or as a fresher at college also. And definitely COVID has actually helped our students to find out our interest and actual passion, I would say, because if our colleges had been open, we would have been into like the rat race, following everybody else. But due to COVID, we got a lot of free time. We got to rethink about what we want to do and whether we want to do that even. So yeah, that being said, let's move on to the fourth question, which is when did you start your LinkedIn profile? You just mentioned about maintaining your LinkedIn profile, connecting with people. So when did you start your LinkedIn profile? How did you grow? Like, how did you actively start using? And how do you use your profile? Because if anybody is on LinkedIn, that person either uses LinkedIn as a job seeker, a recruiter, a content creator, or maybe otherwise. So how is it that you use LinkedIn?
So my LinkedIn journey started around, I think, early 2021. So for the first one to 1.5 years, I was like what most other people do, just like consuming content. I started connecting with people who wrote good contents, who share something valuable, and I started enjoying it, like learning something very valuable, something new, and trying to implement those things. So in this way, 1 to 1.5 years went on. And then I realized I did a big mistake. The mistake of not sharing my own experiences, my own insights, interacting with audience members. And then in May 2022, last year, so around 10 months ago, I started my own LinkedIn journey as a content creator. So from that time, I started writing posts related to business, finance, startups, because see, like there is very lack of awareness of these fields. Most people don't know things properly about these fields, and they honestly wants to know. They want to consume simple, good contents that they can relate with, something that can add value to their life through jobs, through internships, and in general, just to improve the knowledge. So that's why I started my journey, and I have been writing every day one good post on LinkedIn consistently, and it's been for around 9 to 10 months till now. And I got really very good feedback from the audience members. And this good feedbacks actually makes our day. Like it's a motivation to share things over LinkedIn. When we hear messages that our post, our guidance, or the way we are simplifying complex things really helps them in different manners. Like it improves their knowledge. Some people get into some good internships because of that. Similarly for jobs. So these are the two motives of sharing knowledge and interacting with the members. And also apart from this, professionally also LinkedIn has been extremely good to me. Let me explain how. So all three internships that I got related to business and finance fields, VC space, product internship, everything I got by connecting with people over LinkedIn. Because all the key professionals are very active on LinkedIn. They are looking and searching for folks who are active, who are sharing something good, who can demonstrate good things. Because see, only degrees won't matter today. There are lots of folks in India that has tens of or 20s of degrees. So one needs to do something more than their degree and college or their like CPI semester marks. So these things comes there. So many times I got messages from the top companies, people like the co-founders, CEOs, CXOs, uh, HRs. Like recently I got one invite from the HR of a leading VC company to do a chat with her, just as an informal to connect. And it's all because of LinkedIn, because it's a very beautiful platform. And mostly good people spend their time, and it's not something related to very entertainment kind of thing like Instagram or other platforms are there. So in this way, LinkedIn has been a game changer for everyone. One can learn, one can get opportunities through jobs, internships, one can even hire also. So I also hired few interns in my FinStart community for designing and other aspects. So this has been a game changer place. And also I would like to share, LinkedIn managers are also really very kind. They have been taking active steps to help people to stay active on LinkedIn and sharing them resources and other stuffs. And recently I get into two prestigious LinkedIn programs. One was LinkedIn for Creators and another was LinkedIn Campus India Knowledge Program. So this LinkedIn Campus India Knowledge Program, only 120 students from all over India got selected into this prestigious program. And the purpose of this is to help students, especially college students, get right guidance. Because if you get right guidance, anybody can succeed in their life. So I believe that getting good guidance at the right time can make all the difference. Because most people can work hard, like they are willing to do something, but they don't know like what to do or how to do. And this makes all the difference.
And you mentioned about the second program, like, would you enlighten us upon how you got into that? LinkedIn for
So
Creators.
LinkedIn for Creators program.
Yes, you mentioned about two programs, right?
Yeah, LinkedIn for Creators and LinkedIn Campus Knowledge India program.
Yes. How did you get into LinkedIn for Creators? Like, did you get selected somewhere or did you apply for it? How did it happen?
So I did not apply for it. I just kept sharing good contents, and people were acknowledging my contents, and my audience members, my like engagements, impressions, all were coming good. And like that too, they were coming from very reputed people. Like in many posts, you see good numbers of likes and comments, but most of them are not very honest or like from reputed people. They are like you like in my post, I like in your post, and similarly. But that doesn't work in this professional world. But in my post, like I frequently interact with top industry professionals, like I said, CEOs, co-founders, finance professionals, college students also, like all the club members, like from IITs, SRCC, St. Xavier's College, so all good college people. And automatically the LinkedIn manager saw that I have been doing something good over LinkedIn for many months, and they reached out to me saying that they are keen to invite me to this program, and I happily accepted the invitation. And it's been a really nice initiative taken by the LinkedIn people. Like they are sharing some good resources, good tips, and many more things. And I always share those things to other common LinkedIn audience members also through my everyday posts.
Great. So you have been consistently posting about your knowledge and expertise, and then people have recognized you through your content. So I guess that makes all the difference. You don't have to apply anywhere, or a one-day exam or a one-day interview does not decide if you are a true LinkedIn content creator. It's like your daily efforts make you an expert. All right. So my fifth and my sixth questions are completely surrounded by what you had given me. Like when I had asked you about your strengths and your weakness, like most of the times we spend time doing our SWOT analysis, SWOT, right? So when I asked you about your strengths, you mentioned like about your strengths and weaknesses. So let's talk about the weakness first so that we can end the conversation on a positive note. So when we were talking about this, you mentioned improving communication to be one of your shortcomings. So how do you plan to work on that so that you can get over this problem of yours?
Yeah, so see, focusing on our weaknesses is very, very important. So the first step is we have to identify what our actual weaknesses are. So for that, we have to do some kind of introspection. We have to ask our friends, our family members, and other people, like what are things we are missing on and where we need to honestly improve on. So in this way, we can find our weaknesses. So for my case, as I said, I want to improve my personal communication skills more. So how I can do that? So for that, I started looking for opportunities. So when I joined my college in the first year, there were various kind of competitions like parliamentary debate, English extempo competitions, and like Independence Day speech. So I started participating in all of them. So it was a little difficult situation for me because mostly I had been an introvert in my school days, but I started to coming out of my comfort zone. And you won't believe it, like in the first English extempo competition, I got the first prize. Like that was like unbelievable. Like I just wanted to participate and give my best there, but the judges really liked my content and the way I presented there. And similarly, I also get the very prestigious opportunity to interact with a director uh, from IIT Patna and gave a speech on Independence Day event. And this was all in the first year. So I started looking for opportunities and trying to improve over them. I started listening various kinds of physical workshops in our college. I started interacting online with audience members. So I started our YouTube channel where I invite very, very reputed professionals, and I do a similar podcast that we are doing today. So all this helped me to getting out of my comfort zone, trying something new, because see, communication skills are extremely important. Like you simply can't ignore it, and it can't be learned from books or like after like 20 years or 40 years, something like that. It's a practical thing. Reading books are helpful, so I read some good books related to that. I watch various videos like TED videos and TEDx videos. All those were helpful, but ultimately I have to start practicing. Like there's a very popular quote that the person who knows thousand different things a little bit can't be successful, but the person who knows one thing and has practiced it by 10,000 times is the most can be most successful, by Bruce Lee. So I started as coming out of my comfort zone. I started sharing thoughts over LinkedIn, so that was also something new. So eventually I transformed from being an introvert person to an ambivert person, and this journey has been really amazing. And I really uh, suggest all the introverts out there that you all can become much better, like both professionally as well as on a personal level, by developing some good soft skills like communication skills, negotiation skills, and other such skills. Because these things aren't taught anywhere, like be it school or college, like nobody will come and force you. But these skills will matter a lot in your future professional career in any field, even if you are doing coding. So uh, you won't get promoted or you won't get key positions like the CEOs like Sundar Pichai or Satya Nadella unless you have these very, very good soft skills, leadership skills. So you have to focus on that. You can't just think that you can simply get into one room, you can start coding on the laptop and everything happens. Because this is a social world. Like you have to interact with people. So that's why I will suggest to try doing something different and to try coming out of your comfort zone.
I mean, I have been actively involved in promoting communication. And if you see, I have done a few podcasts in the like previous few sessions where I had talked about why confidence and content both are important in your public speaking domain. Because sometimes it's like you are not very fluent in English, but if you are aware of what you are speaking, like today, you have not used too many big English words, but whatever you said was crystal clear, and the key points that you have touched are it's like crisp and proper. So we do not need a good bunch of words like Sashi Tharoor or anybody of that sort to be an expert and sound very intellectual when we are speaking. We can speak very normal language, but that confidence matters. The way you deliver it, the way you're able to connect with the person you are talking to, if you're able to make your point understandable to the other person, then it makes all the difference. And also you mentioned about going from introvert to ambivert, which is a good and a wise point that you mentioned, because generally people start from introvert and they end at extrovert, but you still don't consider yourself to be an expert, thus you mentioned ambivert, which is a good thing, that you don't consider yourself to be an expert already, you still want to work on your skills to become better. So that's great. And
Also, I would like to add one point. Like people can relate very easily with like Narendra Modi. Like all of you must have heard various kind of speeches and like bhashans of our Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So you can see like how confidently, how well he explains different things, and like even a common people from villages or towns, every person can relate with his what he is saying, the way he is speaking. And even international leaders like presidents and prime ministers from US, uh, Russia, China, everybody is acknowledging India today, because today our prime minister has excellent communication skills, which wasn't sadly when Manmohan Singh was prime minister. So this is one more example, like practical example, which shows that you don't need to know high-fi fancy words to become good communicator, but you need to say simple things in such a manner that everybody can relate to it, and sharing some good insightful points.
right. Also, since you mentioned about not using high-fi words, if you are using, it's not a crime. Some people say, what if I am using, like I have studied from an English medium school where it was compulsory to speak in English. Otherwise, I had to pay a fine. And you seriously wouldn't believe, till class 9, I was terrible at English. I used to love my mother tongue. Hindi was my favorite language also. But then gradually and slowly, I started reading books, listening to English movies or English content on YouTube, basically adapting to Indian English and not foreign English. So you will see my English does not have that kind of a American accent, but I comfortably speak in English, so that because I have that practice. So anybody who has that practice can use big words, no issues. But if you are not an expert in English, don't try to become an expert. Use simple English, but try to make your point clear to your audience. That's the main point. So we come to the final question. which is when I asked you about your strengths, you mentioned about being hardworking and being at peace. Okay, I'm somebody who is never at peace. I am always overthinking, or I'm always planning in my mind like what I have to do today, or what wrong did I do today, everything of that sort. So don't you think like smart work is required more than hard work? Because I feel if like a fish, no matter how hard it tries, will never be able to fly, right? And how do you deal with a person who triggers you by saying mean stuff about things for which you have really worked hard? Like, you know the struggle behind it, but somebody just judges you right away and says mean, uh, pessimistic things, like not very good things. So, how do you deal with that?
So like coming to the starting from the last part, like if somebody says something bad to us, so the best way is to simply ignore them. So ignore those kind of people. So like suppose in my college, if somebody says something bad to me, either directly or to some other person, so the best thing is to do is to stop spending time with such kind of people, because there are so many kind of people. We have very precious time and limited time in our lifetimes. So what we need to prioritize is to be happy and at peace. Because see, like there is a very common confusion that most people think that once you get wealthy, that is earning lots of money, everything will become very good. And this is the biggest fallacy. Like you can see hundreds of popular celebrities like Bollywood actors, actress, singers, dancers, politicians, like whatnot. And most of them are terribly sad, let alone happy. They will share very good photos or about events on Instagrams and other things. Like you must have heard various celebrities who did suicide. So why they all of them does those kind of things? Because like all this fame, all this money are good to an extent, to a very basic extent. It's good to have, but after that, they doesn't matter at all. So suppose I have 1 crore or 100 crore, it won't matter much. Uh, but yeah, if you have 1 lakh or 1 crore, then there is a difference. So when you reach to a sufficient, which we call financially independent. Once you become financially independent, it won't matter how much money, fame, status, etc. things you have. And here comes about spirituality. So I really love understanding various spiritual things, doing yoga and meditation, because all these things makes us very peaceful. It slows down our processes, it improves our metabolism, like our internal body functions, and it's the single best thing and most powerful thing which is there in this world. But very few people actually recognize its importance and potential. So this helps us to reduce our aggression and to stay very comfortably, very sensibly. Because you see, whenever you are angry or sad, you can't do anything very well. You can't do, let's say, coding very well. You can't sleep well. You can't even talk or think properly. So the first most thing is to be very peace, be at peace. Uh, don't indulge in any kind of fights. Just ignore all kind of people who are abusing you, who are saying bad things about you, because it doesn't matter what other people think of me. Simply, I know what I am doing. And even if you understand about psychology, so most people realize it very later. First everybody will oppose you, then slowly some of them will say, okay, it's this person is okay, let it be. And once you become more and more successful, once your things start getting noticed, then the same kind of people will say, I always knew that this person will succeed. You will exactly hear this same thing. Like when I started my LinkedIn, I had just 1000 followers hardly. And like no, very few people interact with my post. Like many college students were thinking what he is doing instead of studies and other things. Like I have been studying also well, like I'm in my top 5 branch rank, so that's also going. But most people were thinking he's doing something absurd. And as I am growing my followers, as I'm getting various opportunities, doing internships, already some of them are saying, I always knew that you were doing good. I always collaborated with you. I always helped you. So it's the psychology of the other people. So it's just best to ignore all those things. And related to hard work and smart work, so see, like there's India has very large population. There is intense competition in each and every field. Because of this competition and because of mismatch in demand and supply, so if suppose there are 1,000 jobs, so 1 lakh people will apply for it, so definitely there will be intense lots of competitions. So how one can get ahead of that competition? So everybody start very focused way in the starting, because everybody has joes in the starting. But as things get tougher and like very uncertain things happen, then slowly people understand and start living it in the midway. And I have seen it this in almost everywhere. In LinkedIn also, I saw many people who were very full of confidence and dedication for first few weeks and 1 and 2 months. As time passes, 90% of them already left, because here perseverance is what matters. You have to be very, very consistent and perseverant. And it takes a lot of courage and dedication to focus on good things, to avoid getting distracted, because today it's very easy to get distracted through online, through social media, internet, then like getting too many parties and like lots of other stuffs. So in this way one can include both hard work as well as smart work. And obviously one has to first find out their true passion. Like you said the example, like a fish can never climb. So like the fish needs to understand what he or she is good at. So we have to understand, like if I am good at certain things, I have to deep down double triple my efforts there and try to become an expert there, not like doing everything. I can't do 10 things. Like MS Dhoni, you must have heard that MS Dhoni got failed in class 10, and he twice that too. And he is from the same city from where I am, from Ranchi, Jharkhand. Like his school was just 1 kilometer away from my school, though he's much older than me. But nobody remembers that. Nobody cares what MS Dhoni did in his school days, how much grade he got, because everybody knows that MS Dhoni is really very good in cricket, and that's the only thing that matters. So everybody has lots of strengths and weaknesses, but you have to find your true strength and try to become the best in that, and then everything will transform, literally everything.
Right. And the first part of the question about being hardworking and smart work, regarding smart work, what are your views on smart work?
So I think like it's just like difference between terminologies. Like many people started thinking that hard work means the person who can study for 10 hours or 12 hours. But if you see the true definition of hard work, which now they are calling it as smart work, so in that they are telling that one have to take decisions sensibly. Like one has to do hard work, but in the right direction, in the right way. Like if I start studying for 2 hours continuously, I can't do it. Like my concentration isn't that good. I need to take break. So it's best to like study for 30 minutes or 1 hour, depending on person to person. Take a small break and then again start focusing on that. And like combining some parts of entertainment, study, everything together. So that will make you
Just a second, Madhur. I guess your video is freezed. All right. So there was a slight technical glitch. So we were discussing the question about smart work, and Madhur had just commented his view that smart work is just a new terminology used, whereas hard working in the correct direction is important. So Madhur, please continue your speech.
yeah. So like as I was saying, people just label this new thing as smart work, that anyone who is hardworking but properly in a right direction and in the right way, is called as smart work. So it's not a problem that whether we call it a hard work or a smart work. What matters most is doing things in a sensible manner. So like if somebody is studying for like 2 hours on a continuous stretch, nobody can focus very well. Like our concentration will start decreasing at an exponential speed. So one needs to like take breaks, like study only 30 minutes, 45 minutes at a time, take a 15-minute rest, or like even people can take some naps in the afternoon as a power booster, or like eating healthy things. So all these things together help us to improve our productivity, to improve our focus, to improve our concentration. And in this way, like we can embed both hard work and smart work in a daily routine. We can focus on the right direction. We can take various decisions very well. And we have to do something that we honestly like focusing on our strengths, like avoiding FOMO and the rat race. So in this way, I think that both hard work and smart work are needed, because like without proper hard work, without giving efforts, nobody has achieved anything. It may look like an overnight success. Like people see that suddenly something happening very good with some other person, and they start labeling it as luck. He got lucky. Maybe he got some a jackpot of gold or some connections from the prime minister or something or of that sort. But nothing happens in that manner. Like that person must be doing something very dedicatedly for many months and years. And after such so much of hard work and dedication, things started showing results. So that's why like focusing in the right manner along with proper dedication can lead to all kinds of like success, happiness, satisfaction, etc.
Great. So that was a nice answer to that difficult question. So we've finally reached the concluding part of our session now. So before signing off, I would like to know your feedback about the interview. All criticisms accepted, though. I would love you to be sweet with it. Just kidding. Please be honest about your reviews on the interview today.
Thanks a lot for having me for this session, Twinkle. I really hope that it will help a lot of the audience members to learn something very new, something very valuable to them, and they can start implementing so that their life can become much happier, much better, and much peaceful.
Great. So I guess that was it for our session. It was a lovely session having you, Madhur. And I guess our audience will be benefited by the discussion today, because all the points that we've covered are really important and crucial to be talked about. So I would love to communicate with you in near future. Until then, thank you to everybody who has watched this session today. And that's it. Thank you.